island has a history with people, at least according to archaeologists, goes back 40,000 years ago. Our people to live in peace, tranquility, safety. If people remember me or not, I don't want even to have a monument my name. Dump me into the sea because the land is too precious for someone to build a house. Every single tree you plant, the tree grows. Can you imagine China and India becoming good neighbors and they're good friends and partners? How much they can help Asia and the world. India is a great lesson, inspiration to the rest of the world.
What concept do you have of Timor-Leste?
Well, I don't know what is a concept. The land, the island, and the people. First, I would say it was began the population of Timor-Leste almost 40,000 years ago, when the first migrants or the first adventurers, the first explorers from the Asia region, from what today is Malaysia, China, first came to Timor-Leste. That was to the island of Timor, 40,000 years ago. Then the second wave of people arriving here was about 10,000 years ago. Then another group 5,000 years ago and 500 years ago. So the island has a history with people, at least according to archaeologists, goes back 40,000 years ago. Similar to Australian Aborigines who were in the Australian continent some 50,000 years ago already. The Portuguese navigators, missionaries, first arrived on the island in 1515, about more than 500 years ago. The Portuguese, of course, didn't colonize it for 500 years, as often we read. The Portuguese colonized for 500 years. No, they were here. A few missionaries, few adventurers, few criminals, few good people, very mixed people, as it happened with the Spaniards, with the British, the French, the Dutch, whatever. It was only in the I would say 18th century that the Portuguese established some administration. But when the Portuguese arrived here, there were already some independent kingdoms on the island. I refer to the whole island, East and West Timor. But then there was the rivalry between the Portuguese and the Dutch. The Portuguese were the first to arrive in the whole of Southeast Asia. In Japan, in China, in Thailand, in Malay Peninsula, in Malacca, Malaysia, and in Java, in Sumatra, in the eastern Indonesia, Flores Islands. So the Portuguese were there, but they were there only as traders. They didn't colonize what today is Malaysia or Thailand or what today Indonesia. They were only as traders. And so the Dutch and the Portuguese fought. The Dutch tried to oust the Portuguese from the whole region. They succeeded. It's half of the island of Timor-Leste. So that is, in a very few words, quick, the history of the settlement and the colonization of what today is Timor-Leste, or you can say East Timor.
So, coming on to the next question, as you know, the Timor-Leste embassy was newly established in India. Well, what do you think, what do you feel when you first think of India and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
I'm familiar with India for a long, long time. Even as a teenager, of course, I read, so I know about India. I know about India's struggle for independence. I know about Mahatma Gandhi. I know about the terrible partition of India, the Pakistan, Bangladesh, and what today India. I know about the horrific rule of the British in India. India was already an advanced civilization, the Hindu civilization, that is organized, sophisticated, more sophisticated than the Europeans in the Middle Ages. And it is very, very dramatic, but also inspiring. I think India's struggle for independence against the British, led by Mahatma Gandhi, it is the most inspiring and the most respected in the history of the peoples fighting for independence. The way under Gandhi and the struggle was conducted, mostly peacefully. So I was already familiar. I know about the Indian authors, scientists, and so on. My first visit to India was in 92, April 92, when I went to Dharamsala to teach human rights and international diplomacy to many Tibetans for 10 days or so, 2 weeks. I didn't spend much time in Delhi. So I went all the way to Dharamsala and then back. That was 92. Then when Timor-Leste became independent in 2002, I think 2003, I, as foreign minister, one of the first countries in Asia that I visited was India. I met with the then foreign minister, the prime minister of India, and then I went again over the years, and I went in 2014, I went in 2015, and ever since I was in Gujarat, more recent, in 2024, with Prime Minister Modi, whom I admire enormously. And I'm good friends with many other Indian leaders who are in Prime Minister Modi's cabinet, in particular Hardeep Puri, who is a good friend, a charismatic, strong individual, and many other people like Nobel Peace Prize laureate Kailash Satyarthi and his family, the tremendous work he does in Latin America in support of child rights, rescuing children from slavery, from bond labor, and so on and so on. So I'm a big fan, admirer of India.
Wow, so the President of East Timor, President Horta, admires India a lot, we can see. So you have been a leader since a very young age. Since, at the age of like 23 or 24 years, and you're still a leader at the age of 75. So what's the difference of you being a leader at your young time and your old time? And by old time, I don't mean that you're old. You're still very young, you have a young heart, you have a young mind. Yes, you're still very young.
Young at heart and the mind maybe, but obviously no human being can escape the unfortunate aging process. So I'm not young like Papa Francisco or Mandela before, or any, all of us. One day we reach 80, we reach 90, some lucky they reach 100 and more. And then you reach your grave. for which we all go there one day. That's the inevitable cycle of life, so that
Right.
some people born, grow up, and leave this planet, so that we give space to others. And I was actually involved in justice, in fairness struggle, way before 25, long before. I was already very sensitive by age 17, 18 about the suffering of poor people. When I saw injustice in my own eyes, even as a young person, I was upset
Right.
inside me. This morning I was driving here, it started to rain, and near my home, I saw a girl alone on the roadside. I saw she looked like she was crying. And I stopped the car right away. I called her. Why are you crying? Someone hit you? And she couldn't say. I said, do you want to come with me to my office? She said, no. Do you need some money? She said, yes. So I gave her $20.
Okay.
So I get very touched by that. And once I was in Lisbon, many years ago, I was still quite young, with a friend of mine, Timorese. We were walking in the evening in some area, and I saw a young man beating up his girlfriend or wife. It was already late at night. We were the only, me and my Timorese friend, the only one there. I immediately jumped into action to try to stop it. But my friend pulled me back and said, don't get involved, you might knife you, don't be stupid. So anyway, I have a very instinctively react against abuses. And this is what guides me in what I did for Timor-Leste. For me, the struggle for Timor-Leste, not just to have a flag, a national anthem, that everyone wants it, of course, important symbol of the country, blah, blah, all of that. But more important is that we fight for justice anywhere, Even in a country that's free, sovereign, you might not have justice. You might not have freedom. You might not have dignity of the people, respect them. So most important is fight for justice, for human dignity, for real freedom. And justice means also, in a sense, so that people have access to wealth, access to jobs, access to a better living. If poor are neglected, that is not justice. That is unfair. That is unjust. So for me, the number one guiding principle is justice.
Your Excellency, what is your vision for Timor-Leste? How do you want to see Timor-Leste in the next 30 years?
I want to see that no more malnutrition, stunting. I want to see everyone having 3 meals a day, but nutritious, how you say it, nutritious meal, peace, tranquility, safety, security in every neighborhood. That children have shoes, have clothing, have books, have computers, have toys, that we have clean water, drinking water in every village, if possible, every household. We have a proper sanitation, because in some countries, I don't know about India now, but 20, 30 years ago, from my reading at the time, there were 600 million Indians who didn't have a toilet. The toilet is the open air along the railway side, on the roadside in the morning. But maybe there's a change, because I remember in 2000, in 92, when I first went to India, when the train that brought me back to Delhi, I looked on through the window, I saw so many people in the morning doing their necessities in the open air. Of course, India changed dramatically from that time to today. So for me, yes, people have the privacy, the comfort of having proper sanitation, proper toilet facilities, running water. Children have access to entertainment after school and all this. So I'm not thinking about Timor-Leste with a huge per capita income like Singapore. Everybody has cars and luxury and expensive watches, and that's it. That's total nonsense. I just want our people to live in peace, tranquility, safety. No domestic violence in this country. No domestic violence at home against between the parents, particularly against the women in the house, against the children. The children in the house should not witness the violence between the parents, because that affects them tremendously. And there cannot be violence in school. For me, any school teacher who is violent against the children should get kicked out immediately from the school. Go and work elsewhere and do not work in a school. So that's what my vision. So not so grand. And I don't imagine Timor-Leste having big high rises. No need for billionaires, because billionaires cannot be everybody billionaire. Billionaire, few, some of them, and I'm nothing against a billionaire. I wouldn't mind winning $1 billion in a lottery. But for me, that's not the ambition in life for Timor-Leste.
How President Horta is such a humble and simple person. As you've heard his vision, I hope every leader has a mindset like you. Mindset so simple and humble. I hope other people listening today, the audience, can learn from you. Because even as an activist, as your special envoy, I have a dream. I have a dream where every child has the access to clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, and clean planet to live. And asking to clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, and clean planet to live is all our basic rights. Moving on, Your Excellency, as you know, sea level is rising. And Timor-Leste is also one of the most vulnerable countries to today's global climate crisis. So my question is, did you receive any loss and damage or climate finance fund from the rich developed nations?
Those who visualize, dream about loss and damage funds, about adaptation, about financing to move from fossil fuel, including from firewood into renewable, I would say wait longer. You can keep on waiting. I'm already immunized immunized. I got vaccinated about against the pledges from all these international conferences. Many of the Western countries, they go to these international conferences, they become like professional pledgers. They go there, they all join each other, make a pledge, $10 million, $100 million, $100 billion, and then you don't see anything. The next pledging conference, they announce again. And but then, and they finally decide to do something. God, it takes forever for a poor country to access the funds. Layers of bureaucracy, you have to fill up so many papers. And then they set up the funding mechanism with so many layers and the bureaucracy. And then they hire their own experts. Like, let's say, India, God, does India need any Western expert to come down to some town, village in India to help with loss and damage initiatives? India has scientists, these are people who can go to the moon and even planet Mars. So they don't need any Western expert. And UNDP has about 10,000 people in India. I wonder, God, why really India still need 10,000 UN? No, this is totally waste of money. And let Indians do it 100%. Because a lot of the pledge money, when it is actually delivered, it goes primarily to pay for the experts. Very little of the money you see invested in tree planting. We have done tree planting here. I'm involved in many tree planting activities for the last 20 years or so. And I always make a very, very strict demand that we support directly the people, the community who participate at the village level in doing tree planting, but also in monitoring, in making sure that every single tree you plant, the tree grows. Because I've seen, I don't mention the names of the countries. One country in the Eurasia region, they talked some time ago about they planted 100 million trees. Well, in reality, only 10% survived. Another country in Africa talk about the same 100 million trees. Well, less than 10% survive. So it's a lot of nonsense when I hear claims. In my case, each and every tree is accounted for. And Timor-Leste became the first country in Asia, many years ago, already maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, to issue the first carbon certificate. And we got money from the carbon certificate. That money was delivered to the people in the community where this program was launched, called Bahagia. I've been the chairman, the honorary chairman of this called One Seed, with one seed, in Tetu language, Ho Musang Ida. And the people who participate, several thousand participate, each every one responsible for each and every tree. Then we sold the carbon credits. I signed as the first certificate. And in one single operation, we got more than $200,000 in cash. All this money was paid to everyone in the village. It didn't go to our bureaucracy or to administrative costs or anything. So when I say we planted 10 trees, I mean 10 trees that actually survive. I don't say 10 trees that were eaten up by the goats and the pigs, and because no one, you make the symbolic planting and then no one look after the trees.
Right.
So a lot of that happened around the world.
I mean, when you plant trees, you should take care of it with love and respect. Otherwise, there would be no point if it dies. There would be no point to plant a tree sapling if it just dies. So we should take care of it with love and respect. I mean, you see, Timor-Leste, small island nations, the global south countries, we are facing all these climate crises in the very front lines. We are the very vulnerable victims of it. And as you mentioned about the climate finance, the rich nations must give the climate finance now to make us have the climate justice, because we the global south deserve climate justice now. And without the climate finance, there will be no climate justice.
Well, Licypriya, you are 12 years old, no? So I can guarantee you, when you become a grandmother, the countries that pledged, that promised, they still haven't delivered.
Yes.
So I will advise India to do it yourselves. Don't wait for the climate justice, waiting for adaptation, for whatever other the UN jargon. Of course, we all love jargons, Climate justice, adaptation, compensation, and whatever. I say, all of these UN jargon that we all repeat very happily and mean nothing unless each and every one of us in your community, in your village, in your town, in your mountain, you take care in recovering tree by tree the forest that we destroy ourselves. Clean up the rivers, the lakes, the seas to the extent that we can. How can we? India has fantastic technology. How can India help in digging out the plastic, the fish nets, and all the stuff that is under seawater in the sea, and the trapped animals, trap the whale, trap the dolphins, all kinds, and then poison all these animals in the sea. So it's a monumental task to clear the sea from so much, the millions of tons of poison that we dump into the sea. And how can India, and I mention India because I say India, because, well, I have this faith because the Indians have this incredible resilience, very innovative, hardworking, always thinking what to do, how to do to resolve this and that. And India is, a country that should lead the third world, the developing world, should be a strong spokesperson and defender of the third world countries. Of course, you have Indonesia, almost 300 million people. By 2050, Indonesia will be 400 million. We have other countries like Saudi Arabia, Algeria, Nigeria, Brazil, Mexico, and the other countries in Asia, so of the so-called global south. And who are the natural leaders of the global south? India is one, Brazil is another, Indonesia is another, but there are others like Ethiopia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, very small but extremely well managed with great leadership. Among them, they have more liquidity, more money than all of Europe combined. So they are the ones who should come together and present their own vision and plan with funding, with concrete strategy. Focus on very few specific targets. Don't fall into this UN so-called, first we had MDGs, then SDGs, as if suddenly it is the UN that make us discover the SDGs. Well, in all our national plans, long before MDGs, before SDGs, many countries were already making the effort. The problem is financing. And the financing really never came for the MDGs and for the SDGs.
Yeah, so instead of just waiting, we should start taking action. We should start taking action now and change our behavior. We can start taking action by taking small steps. And every small steps that we take can make a huge difference. So what I'm really curious about this. What did you first think of me? And I'm very curious, why did you appoint me as your special envoy?
Read about you by chance in, I think, Facebook. And some of your activities. And very young, I don't know, remember when was that? Maybe what, 10, 11 or 9 when I read. And then I made a comment, but just like amusing comment. And I said, I'm going to tell the Secretary General of the UN to invite you to be one of his advisors. Something like that.
I saw your comment.
Yeah, then a year later you contacted me.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was very impressed. I said, oh God, such a young person with his maturity, very articulate, very committed, very inspirational. And I was very impressed when you were annoyed when people call you the Greta of Asia. I was like, oh, India is a million times bigger than Sweden. So, and Greta is known only for the Europeans, and now we haven't heard much about her. And so you are from India, one of the 1.5 billion in India. And yeah, I totally agree. You are not the Greta of Asia. You are Licypriya of India.
That's true. That's correct. 100%.
Licypriya of Asia.
Well, it's my great honor to be appointed as your special envoy, because you could have appointed anyone else.
Yes.
Yes.
Most Western countries, most countries, they appoint an elderly person, sometimes on a wheelchair, to be the special envoy. And so I decided to appoint a 10-year-old, 11-year-old as a special envoy.
Thank you, sir. It's my great honor, and I'll do my best to fulfill my duty.
I know you're already doing a lot, you, your parents, your sister, and the people in Manipur, in India. So I hope that my friend, Prime Minister Modi, I really admire Prime Minister Modi, is super charismatic. And I have other friends in India, like Shashi Tharoor. I think for me, Shashi is the best speaker in the world. I always watch him on YouTube. I watch 2, 3, 4, 5 times already, the same thing. Then I sit there and laugh with the way he demolished the British. But the British have a great sense of humor, and they accept, they know. I watch on YouTube, no one gets upset with what he says. They mystify UK, England, and many others. So for me, one great hope would be that India and Bangladesh and Pakistan reach out and stabilize South Asia, resolve the problem in South Asia, but also that India and China reach out to each other. Can you imagine China and India becoming good neighbors and good friends and partners? How much they can help Asia and the world. At a time when the West engaged in self-inflicting harm to their own image, their credibility, to their interests, destabilizing international trade, creating havoc with grave consequences for all the countries, exacerbate the already difficult situation in the poorer countries. We have not recovered from COVID, not recovered from the many cyclones, earthquakes. Then we had the war in Ukraine. And the Europeans, they all obsessively and rightly so, all their resources go to Ukraine. And forget about the worst humanitarian crisis in the world is in Sudan right now. And not a word about Gaza, the Palestinians, by the West. Only some countries, yes. So we need India. We need China, we need Brazil, we need Indonesia, we need Ethiopia, Nigeria, South Africa, we need Mexico. So that is my message to Prime Minister Modi and all the Indian leaders of that great country. It's amazing how India has consolidated democracy all these years. Unlike Pakistan, military coups after military coups, unlike Bangladesh, and unlike Myanmar, and India has incredible wisdom, maintain the unity, maintain democracy, imperfect obviously, no perfect democracies anywhere. So India is a great lesson, inspiration to the rest of the world.
Yes, I hope your message gets passed on to them.
So
Please.
when you're arriving back in Delhi, take a taxi, go to the Prime Minister's office and meet with him, have a tea with him, and share with him my message.
Who is your inspiration? Who is one idol? Who's that one person that you look up to?
Our mother, poor, simple woman, suffered a lot. She survived World War II, Japanese occupation. She was in the mountains, running, fleeing, then survived the years under Indonesia. And she always talked about justice, about telling the truth. So she is the biggest influence probably. But then, as an adult, reading about India, about Mahatma Gandhi, I thought, wow, what a giant of a man. And then others, Mandela. But also I admire some American leaders, the Kennedys, John Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and some Europeans, post-World War II leaders in Europe. Great people who transformed, healed the wounds of Europe after the worst war ever in humanity was World War II. World War I, World War II, in the heart of Europe. They fought the war by themselves, against each other. But primarily, number one, our mother, who had 11 children, and one of them, and then others, great leaders. They are the ones who inspired me. And I get very happy when I watch some young people, some children, very smart, show great leadership. One is you, and you are remarkable at your age. An Indonesian teenager. I met her only a few months ago.
Okay.
What? Her name is Sophia. You talk to her, you feel like you were talking to some summa cum laude PhD in her 40s. And she's amazing. Current generation of young people are so much smarter than we were. Yeah. Like, when I have difficulties with my laptop, or I get annoyed with something wrong with my Samsung tablet, I ask one of my 5-year-old great niece, can you fix this? They quickly fix it. And then I wonder, God, how come she knows all of it and I don't? So.
Wow, that's really great to hear from you. Who's your inspiration? And it's our one and only mother, isn't it? So, what do you feel about artificial intelligence?
We had the 4 industrial revolutions. We are now going through the 4th. And the first industrial revolution that happened in 1700s in England, and then it took long to move from first industrial revolution to second to third, a bit faster, but then third to fourth, gone so fast. And now we're in the midst of the 4th industrial revolution, and that means digitalization, artificial intelligence. Great for humanity, but it also requires that human beings remain in control of the button and the uses of artificial intelligence. Hopefully to serve peace, to serve justice, to serve prosperity in the world, and not to use it to provoke conflicts between societies, communities, and nations, because that can happen.
Yes. During your journey, what is the biggest obstacles and challenges that you have faced, even right now as you run the country as the head of the state?
The challenges for us, we are only 1.4 million. Very frustrating that more than 20 years after independence, particularly in the last 10, 15 years, we have not resolved the problems of extreme poverty, stunting and malnutrition, clean water, and not able to build better schools all over the country. And India is 1.5 billion. Indonesia, almost 300 million. And if these countries can do what they have done, it put the rest of us to shame. If we, with the resources we have, we are not able to eliminate completely extreme poverty, child malnutrition. So this is one of the challenges. I'm not the Prime Minister in our political system, similar to India, although the President of Timor-Leste has more power than the President of India, according to our constitution. But I'm not the one who designed the government program and create the budget that is necessitated to support the program. That is the role of the Prime Minister. If I were the Prime Minister, I would have governed differently. I would have different priorities. But I'm not. I'm the president.
Will you run again for the president?
On my own, I can retire and go to a village somewhere, enjoy the tranquility of life. I contributed to the freedom of the country for 24 years. Then in 99, after the referendum, my plan was not to be in the government. I was planning at the time, in 99, 2000, to step out of politics.
Okay.
Give the space to everybody else. But then the first government, God had zero experience. The then Prime Minister asked me to serve as Minister of Foreign Affairs. But I told him at that time, I will serve only till 2007. 2007 I leave. But then in 2006 we had a major political security crisis in the country. And I was the foreign minister, I was not defense minister, minister of interior or whatever. But I was super active in resolving the conflict. And because of my role at the time during the crisis, the church, Mr. Shanana, everybody asked me to run for president. So I ran for president in 2007. In 2012, when I finished my first term, I went to work for the UN, first in West Africa, with the status of Under Secretary General, the highest in the UN below the Secretary General. 1.5 years, I did a very good mission. Then the Secretary General called me back to New York and asked me to be the chair of a panel called High Level Independent Panel on UN Peace Operation, to review, to propose, make recommendations how to make the UN peace operations more effective, more serving the people in conflict, and how to better prevent conflicts from happening. I work with colleagues, all highly qualified. We produced a report, went to Secretary General, General Assembly, Security Council, for implementation by the UN, by member states. Antonio Guterres, current Secretary General, was elected 2017. He asked me to serve in a group called High Level Board on Mediation. For 2 years I did. So for 10 years I was out of office in Timor-Leste. But then 2021, Shanana approached me and wanted me to run as president again to put back Timor-Leste on the world map. So during the 10 years I was not involved in government. Successive governments made Timor literally disappear from the map. So I contribute domestically to keep the country free, democratic, rule of law, respect for human rights, freedom of press, but I also try to mobilize international attention, international engagement, foreign investment, relationship with everyone, every country. 2027, I finish my current mandate as president. Some people already talking about I should run for prime minister. Maybe, I don't know. By then I'll be 79, I think. No, 70, maybe 78. I will see my health at the time.
Your Excellency, how would you like this and the future generation to remember you?
When I die, I will not know how people will remember me. Not so very well, I'm dead, gone. You don't know anything about going on earth after you, so who cares? And I just hope that when I depart, long before I depart, the country is healthy, the people are healthy, peaceful. That's all. Did I contribute for it? I did a bit, somewhat. I'm happy for that, but if people remember me or not, I don't want even to have a monument in my name. I don't want either to occupy a piece of land with my bones. I think, dump me into the sea because the land is too precious for someone to build a house. And I hate the idea of putting a cement inside.
So, what is your favorite hobby? Something that other people don't know about you. What do you do in your free time?
Free time. I watch Bollywood movies, fall in love with some of the actresses who don't know me, whom I don't know them. And I watch Netflix, but God, I never watch completely. Maybe I watch 10 minutes and then I fall asleep. And then if it's too long, I get bored. I love music. I love Elvis Presley, my favorite. I love Beatles. And I love some of the great French singers from the 60s and 70s. God, France has such a great singer, Françoise Hardy, Sylvie Vartan, Mireille Mathieu, and then the very great good-looking actor, Alain Delon. He was the best-looking man in the world. And but today, France and most of Europe, very culturally, cinematography, nothing. But there are great films, of course, India, but Korean, Japanese, I love Japanese cinema. And Latin America, Spain, very good. Italy also used to be great in movie production, in music, in the 60s and 70s. Now, so much less. So that's my hobby, but I also like to travel in the country. I enjoy the mingle with the children, the local people, give them some moments of happiness, share with them my money. I give away, buy some simple food for the children on this roadside, and see them laughing and chatting with the children. Yeah, that make me happy.
Wow. So, what is your favorite Bollywood movie or Bollywood song or favorite Bollywood actress?
Well, I'm very difficult, with the Indian names, sometimes it's so difficult names. And Modi is very easy, Modi, 4 letters, you remember.
Yeah.
Sajitaru, yeah, but anyway, some of I just see them on the YouTube, on Netflix, oh God, India has so many beautiful people, and it's such a diverse country.
Yes, that's right.
So difficult to say. So I end up falling in love with several of them.
So, what is your favorite food?
Food?
Yes.
I love Asian cuisine in general. Easy to say I love Indian cuisine. Who doesn't like? All over the world, everybody knows Indian cuisine. Indian cuisine is almost as successful as the Chinese cuisine, I love Indonesian cuisine, then Malaysian, Thai, but also I love Japanese.
Yes.
I could eat Japanese cuisine every day. In Europe, my favorites is Portuguese, Spanish, and Italian. The 3, my favorite.
How many languages do you know?
I speak Tatum, which is the national language of Timor. Portuguese, French, I speak well. Spanish, English, obviously, And I understand Italian most of it, and I get by with Bahasa Indonesia. I like Bahasa Indonesia, beautiful language, but I cannot say I speak. I can play with it and so on. I would love to be able to speak more.
Right. So do you watch football? Football.
Yes, I enjoy watching, but only when there is a Copa d'Europa, Euro Cup, or the World Cup.
Okay, so who's your favorite team?
Well, because unfortunately Timor doesn't qualify,
Yeah.
I support the Portuguese team.
Portuguese.
But it's always disappointing, always stressful. They were doing well in the first, second, or then they go to the semi-final. So after Portugal, I don't care who else win. I still watch, but not so. In Timor-Leste, God, 80 or 90% of the country support the Portuguese team.
Ronaldo.
Yes.
So who's your favorite football player?
Yeah, Timor is very strong on soccer.
No, who's your favorite football player?
Football player?
Yes.
I would say Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay. Wow, that's great. Even I love Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah.
But there is this Brazilian one, Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
He was quite good, amazing, like almost like Pelé.
Right.
But unfortunately for Brazil, God, after Pelé, they never recover. Pelé was the king of soccer, Brazilian.
I think the audience loved your answer about your favorite football club and your favorite football player, and to get to know about all your hobbies and things that other people don't know about you. So, coming on to the final questions, what is one message you want to share to the world and to all the people and our viewers, our audience watching here today, watching our interview today?
My very simple message that I have shared many times in Timor-Leste and abroad. Study, study, and study. That's your chance. That is your time, your opportunity. Don't waste a single day. One day that you wasted, that day you lost. It's not going to come back. Study science, technology, renewable energy, study about how to create food chains, achieve self-sufficiency in agriculture, how to develop seeds that do not need too much water. Some of the agriculture is too much water. How we could plant rice without too much water. How to preserve better water, how to better recycle water, how to better develop desalination technology so that simple coastal areas, villages, they can do desalination very cheaply, because that's desalination is very expensive. So I tell youth, study these things, study digitalization, artificial intelligence, study medicine, find cure for cancer and other mortal, deadly diseases. Don't spend too much time protesting. And, yeah, you should protest, but don't make that a hobby or a profession. And because some they just love protesting. And in Timor-Leste, 20 years ago, we had a lot of youth, they loved it. They were manipulated by some. So nowadays, you hardly see any demonstration. People became more mature, and they see the government is doing its best. And for leaders, I say, govern with humility. I don't say with wisdom, because obviously that is to be expected, that the leader has to be super smart. But be super smart to serve your people. Be accessible to the simple people. Be humble. The greatest strength of a leader is his or her humility. With humility, with compassion, with high qualification, because you devote yourself to study, to serve, you have produced a great leader.
Do you still plan to visit Manipur to inaugurate the José Ramos-Horta International Peace Center?
What you, your parents, and the people there have done is just amazing, very touching, that you would think of me or Timor-Leste to dedicate a whole new building to promote Timor-Leste there. And through your work, Timor-Leste will be so known in India. Of course, as head of state, I have to follow certain protocol and rules. I've been in touch with the government in New Delhi to find an opportunity for me to go to Delhi again. I went to Gujarat, not to Delhi, where I can have official visit soon. And then, of course, I go to Manipur.
Yes, because
Definitely, I want to go, but I will go in coordination with the government in Delhi. I can tell the people in Manipur, yes, I want to go to that little state of India, and I want to go to other parts of India. It is amazing, India is always overwhelming, and overwhelming in its beauty, in its creativity, in its chaos. It is in democracy. The first time I went to Delhi, they took me to where there is Taj Mahal. But on the road to Taj Mahal, I saw some vehicles, very strange looking vehicles, locally made.
okay.
They only allowed outside Delhi. They look like Mad Max films, and the cars in Mad Max. And I thought, oh God, only the Indians could think of this crazy. Because that is their creativity, ingenuity. They're able to put together an engine and make it into a vehicle. God, I presume it uses up a lot of fuel and a lot of pollution it causes. But that is the transportation of the people outside Delhi. And that shows the creativity, the resilience of the Indian people.
So thousands of people are genuinely waiting for you to come to Manipur, to come to India. They will warmly welcome you there.
I will, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, God bless you.
Thank you.